Natalie's eyes. Here, for example, the exterior of a movie theater provides a mini-narrative within the larger narrative. The movie now being shown inside was old, and apparently past any redemption by adjective, so that the management had simply, resignedly let the pictures into the frames outside the theater, and were now presumably hiding away somewhere inside, beyond reach of irate patrons. One of the pictures showed a glorious scene between a man in a cowboy hat and uncomfortable pistols, who backed against the door to face a darker, equally weaponful villain. In the background, a damsel wrung her hands, and all three seemed to turn anxiously to the camera, which alone could justify the violent emotions they ravished themselves to feel. It was plain from the picture that it was near the end of the day. The sun was setting dramatically outside the backdrop window. The hero had the look of one who would shortly remove his guns and his spurs and go home in a car he had bought but could not afford. The heroine seemed to be thinking, under her beautiful look of fear and concern, that perhaps she should keep the children out of school until this chickenpox scare was over. I suppose you could say there is social satire in the novel, but these expertly orchestrated and often terribly funny scenes go deeper than what the word satiric normally conjures up. Near the novel's beginning is a scene so intense, so well done, and so absolutely awful that after a while I realized I was holding my breath until it ended. Natalie's blowhard father is helping her with her writing, private tutorials during which he involves her in a seductive conspiracy against her mother, who, they agree, is uninterested in Natalie's notebooks, in which Natalie has written about her mother, or in Mr. Waite's articles. He says, "I never could have found anyone else so unsympathetic as your mother, and so helpful." They share a laugh about that. Now, Mr. Waite has given Natalie another assignment, to write an essay about him. He modestly critiques it. Not handsome Natalie, that I absolutely disclaim. And they proceed to discuss it, in a highly civilized and totally blood-curdling way. The middle of the book's 3 sections suggests what I suppose one could call an academic novel. It's funny, as they often are, institutional pretenses and pretensions being so easy to make fun of. Though again, Jackson digs deeper and is at once odder and more thought-provoking than surface mockery or humor. Here is how she captures the ethos of Natalie's newly founded college. Anything which begins new and fresh will finally become old and silly. The educational institution is certainly no exception to this, although training the young is by implication an art for old people exclusively, and novelty in education is allied to mutiny. Moreover, the mere process of learning is allied to mutiny. Moreover, the mere process of learning is so excruciating and so bewildering that no conceivable phraseology or combination of philosophies can make it practical as a method of marking time during what might be called the formative years. The college to which Arnold Waite, after much discussion, had decided to send his only daughter was one of those intensely distressing organizations which had been formed on precisely the same lofty and advanced principles as Hoyer seats of learning, but which applied them with slight differences in detail. Education, the youthful founders of the college had told the world blandly, was more a matter of attitude than of learning. As in The Lottery, Jackson is attuned to the hideously discordant frequencies of power and group dynamics. While the citizens in The Lottery act communally in a single, unpredictable way, the students at Natalie's college act in little groups and in various predictable ways. Yet the results are no less brutal, if not so literally bloody. In a series of expertly orchestrated scenes, 2 monstrous spoiled brat students, Vicky and Anne, one of whom is having an affair with their English professor, conspire to torment the English professor's sad, pretty wife, herself a former student. Readers will gather that this was written at a time before changing academic mores made this sort of thing less common, at least on the surface. Jackson assumes that we will register, without excessive prompting, how much Hangsaman's unfortunate academic couple resembles a younger version of Natalie's parents, just as we have noted the irony of Mr. Waite's questioning Natalie's whole attack in regard to the problem of description, when in fact, Natalie possesses almost preternaturally precise descriptive powers. Natalie is lonely at school, and because of who she is, and because of what kind of novel this is, her loneliness is terrifying. The dangerous power of awareness, quotidian social brutality, loneliness, and existential fear propel Hangsaman toward the edge of becoming a psychological thriller, rather like one of Patricia Highsmith's, only less physically violent, funnier, more lyrical, imaginative, and interior. I hesitate to reveal very much about the final section. Let me simply say that Natalie makes an extremely strange new friend. From this point on, we are tempted to read quickly to find out what will happen, and at the same time hold ourselves back from reading too rapidly, because the sentences are so good.